Nah, I'm gonna put him on the cast with me. Come here, boy.
All right, folks, we are live right now. Let me just go ahead and get the Instagram going. And it looks like we are live on Instagram. All right, let's get this cracking. Hold on, what happened to Curly? He'll be back.
Oh, I'm coming. I'm coming. Look, I
Oh,
gotta
there
use
he
my phone.
Okay, Curly's putting his dog away. I'm gonna go ahead and get us going here. You good to go, Curl?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Let's go.
All right, hold on. Let me set this up. Where we go?
Yeah.
Cold Rice Media.
All right, what's going on, y'all? We're here on a Monday evening. Hold on, is the music playing again still? Oh shoot. There we go. Sorry, guys. This is a live show, so I had to go ahead and cut that thing short. But anyways, we're here on a Monday evening, as advertised, and I just put this up on our Instagram. This show is going to be a pretty interesting topic, and we're gonna jump right into it. But I just want to make sure that I go ahead and get everybody introduced at first, and they'll be telling their own stories. Let's see. Let me go ahead real quick though. I'm taking a look at what's going on Instagram. It's getting kind of fuzzy on my end there. So if you're on Instagram right now, if you want to actually go ahead and hop on to youtube.com/@coldricemeter, that's going to be a better experience for you. You're going to be able to interact with the people that's on the show right now. And they'll see your comments. But if not, just go and hang on in there. Go ahead and comment in there also, and we'll read it live on the show. But as I was mentioning, this is the show with an interesting topic tonight, and I was actually asked why I was doing this topic. And let me just go ahead and let you know this is there's no easy way to say it. There's no proper way without me like risking insulting my men's over here. But I put it out there as the ex-con panel because this came through. Let's see, how did this come up? This a couple weeks ago when Curly was on. This during our COVID episode, and Curly is on the bottom left here. Let me go ahead and introduce Curl. This is Curly right here.
What's up,
And
Curly?
Hi, everybody.
Say hi to Curly, everyone. He was actually on the COVID show, and he had shared some of his experience during that time because I was interested. That actually was one of the topics that came up during the show. I wanted to talk about COVID, period. But then I thought it was actually an interesting topic to come up with what was going on in the prison system during that time. If you guys want to watch that show, it is a couple live streams back. But then after that show, we also had Isaac, who is right here. We're bringing him back on from last week's show. Definitely gave us a lot of positive and a lot of funny.
What's up, Isaac?
What's up, I? That's Isaac. So he was on our last week's episode, and he actually hit me up before that and said, I also kind of want to speak on the system itself, just because he spent he spent some time in the pen, and he also wanted to speak about the COVID situation in jail or in prison during that time and what he went through. So I told him, it's like, hey, listen, I've got this. I'm already starting to brew this episode that's going to be coming up. It was actually going to be a month or so down the road, but it just came up just because it was just perfect timing. And the third person that we have here today is Ali. And Ali is actually he's not too far from here. He's in the DFW area, and he was one of the people that actually came to mind when this whole thing came into my head. I was like, I like Ali. I like Ali's personality. He's got a lot to say, and he's very articulate about his time. So I went ahead and scheduled this thing. I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. It's one of those episodes to where I'm basically just going to take a step back. I'll start the show and we'll lead the show up, but these guys are going to take over and they're basically going to talk about their experience. Now, we were chopping it up before the episode itself, and I told them, it's like, hey, there's been a few people actually eyeing me on the side, asking us, like, this is a little bit different from the episode topics that you've actually put out. It's about experiences like in the Asian culture and everything like that. But I've mentioned to them, and I told them, I didn't tell you guys this either. It's like I told them that it's like as an Asian community, all these different aspects and all these different things happen in our community, and we're only a product of it. During the 90s, like during when I was growing up, a lot of the OGs, a lot of people that I looked up to or I even hung out with, they're still in. So it's just one of those things. Like, we're blessed to have people that have already, put their time in as youngins, not really knowing what the hell they were doing to begin with, and then now they're here to talk about their stories. They're here to talk about their experiences, and they're here. They've already done their dues, and it's a real thing to where so we can't we can't like keep it as taboo, or to where it's like there's some sort of like a secret story behind bars. I'm actually very interested in it. I still got people's in there, so that's why I'm interested in their story, and that's why we're doing the show tonight. Is that fair, fellas? That's my little spiel. That's my little soapbox. But I kind of just want to jump into this. We were on, except for Curly. Curly actually hopped on maybe about 5-10 minutes before we started. But we were already on like 40 minutes in, and these guys have been draining their stories. Like Isaac and swapping stories and talking about their experience. And I was like, man, I hope these guys save some for the show. But
they will. It's plenty. It's plenty.
Right?
Yeah. There's
got to be, right, and there's going to be a lot of there's going to be
more of acquaintance thing.
Yeah. It's good. Everybody kind of just like is jumping in and like learning each other. But now it's time to share y'all stories. Just to get it all started, just to kind of just jump right into it. To anyone willing to jump in and talk about the initial, like your situation is already beginning. Talk about the process of you making it into the prison system itself. I'm not very versed in what happens with in jail. Were you guys held first, or did you guys go straight in?
I can start it off. So when I was active, I guess you could say, committing crimes or whatnot, me and everybody that was on my case, we felt like we were done. We made it. We were doing what we had to do from 2012 to about 2014, and then called it quits and sort of just went on with our lives. I started dating someone. I was on the verge of having a kid, then one day we're at work and, the marshals come, they kick in the door. They say, get on the ground. They cuff you up. At the time we were in Orange County. So they have to take you to get in front of a magistrate so they could tell you what you're being charged with. So the marshals, their job is to basically hunt you down and take you to that magistrate. Now, although I was in California when everything was going down, the case was actually built against me in Virginia. So I had to go from LA all the way to Virginia. And that took a lot of traveling. So this is a culture shock. I'm used to doing whatever I want, whenever I want, ate whenever I ate, done whenever one thing you don't get to take advantage of is opening the fridge anytime you want and just being able to look inside and close it and grab what you want. Damn. So it starts off there. The marshals pinch us. We go to LA County Jail. They book us in. Immediately we're going through shell shock. We're like, shit, what's going to happen? What's going on? Right when you walk in, they could tell what race you are, and your people come to you and say, look, don't talk about your case because you haven't been charged yet. Here's a toothbrush. Here's, hygiene kit. If you guys make it to commissary, get it back. If you don't, throw the money on the book, whatever. So a bus picks you up. You get to an airstrip field, and literally you are strapped at the waist, strapped at the ankles, and you're just shuffling. You get on a plane, and they tell you don't use the bathroom because you can't get up. The whole time, you're not really knowing where you're going to go until you meet people who along the way have been in the system, and they could say, this is your first time. Okay, what's your charge? Oh, this is what's probably going to happen to you. You're most likely going to make bail. So it's a 2-week trip to get to, a week trip to get to Virginia. We stop off in LA. We stop off in Oklahoma. We get held. We get driven up. We land in Virginia, and then we fly to DC. We're just getting shuffled around like cattle. Finally, we're held in the county jail. By that point, if you had an opportunity to get phone calls and arrange something, you could either have a lawyer or a public defender there setting up for you. We had a big support system, so almost our whole family flew out just to make sure that we were good, put up houses, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? A little bit of backstory on me. I'm not a product of my environment. I grew up, with both parents. I went to a private school from kindergarten all the way till 12th grade. I was just one of those kids that always straddled the fence, that wanted to be on the other side and on the good side, and just, I guess an adrenaline junkie, I guess you could call it. at a certain point in my life, I wanted to create a shortcut for myself and make money fast. And I thought blue collar crimes were, I'm not touching dope, so I'm not hurting anybody because I know a key gets you 5, and I know crystal meth is an automatic 10 years. You get caught with an ounce. You know what I mean? This is perfect. That's not the case at all. They struck me out and they broke me off like 6 because I had so many victims in my case. It was a real estate crime. You know what I mean? And I felt a lot of it had to do with them making an example of my skin color, of me being brown. If I was Bernie Madoff, I might not have gotten all this time. But it was one of those situations where they made an example out of us. My co-defendant, which is my cousin, he got 18. He didn't go to trial, but he pled out, and they gave him 18 for it. Basically, by pleading out, he pled guilty. He didn't want to fight it. So I was one of the lucky ones out of all of us that were there, because my girlfriend's parents put up their home. My parents put up their home. They gave me bail with an ankle monitor. So I was stuck in the house. Kristen's literally, this is in November. She's having the baby in March. You know what I mean? I was allowed to go see my daughter get born, and then I had to get turned in. Immediately when you get turned in, the way the federal system is set up is they have it broken up by points. So if you have under a certain amount of years, you go to a camp, a low, a medium. A camp is a huge privilege because there's no fence. You could literally sleep all day if you want to sleep all day. There's cars or rides where basically your ethnicity or your culture is the Asian, Filipino, Islander, whatever, blacks, whites, Paisa, Southsiders. So there's cars. So there's a little bit of organization. But as far as like having to hold it down or put in work or being a torpedo or any of the politics, it's not there, because people cherish the fact that there's no fence. All you got to do is show up for the 4 o'clock and the 9 o'clock count. Other than that, you could do whatever you want all day. You don't even have to work, really. And it's no fence. You could dip if you want to dip, you know what I mean? And come back for count. If you want to come back, if you don't show up for count, they consider you a walk-off.
He said there's no fence.
There's no fence.
Now that doesn't even, so that's news to me. How different is that from your process, Ali?
They call it Disneyland, bro.
Oh, he's federal, so it's probably different a little bit. I was more, the process, the state, it's county, Dallas
but
County.
I want you to talk about how Texas state is way different from any other state prison.
Oh, Texas is the worst prison system in all of America. All of America. You know what I'm saying? This is like self-explanatory. We don't have AC, right? But they have ACs for the animals.
So let's hold on. Let me take. I want to find out how you ended up getting to your area, because I know were you in Texas? Where you get?
I'm originally from Arkansas. And not to make a long story too long. I used to come down to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Me and my homeboys used to come down to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Because we were like, we just a little bit. We were just city boys, not country boys, And so we come down to Dallas, we come down basically not to cause trouble or nothing, but we down here for the females, We know how females can get attracted to guys from out of town, new face, new blood, and we were, and we took advantage of that, And that's how I started coming down to Texas.
Okay. But is this where everything kind of just transpired?
Yeah, it's where, and then, us being us, and one thing led to another, we like to rob, you know what I'm saying? So we met some people that like to rob, and, we was in cahoots. I came down in 94. I got locked up in 95 for aggravated robbery. And it's kind of like what he just said. Like, he's kind of like a culture shock. He's going from one state to another. But the difference was I've never been locked up in Arkansas. So me being locked up in Texas is my first time ever being incarcerated. So, it's kind of like, I don't know what to expect,
So is that straight to, did you spend time in jail first? Did they hold you? Or
you go through the process, you know what I'm saying? You go through the process of, you get charged, fight the case, they come with some time, and, you do all that back and forth with the DA, your lawyer and all that, And I guess, the mounting evidence, was, you go to trial, it's 5 to 99. So, so they offered me 15, and at first they offered me 30. So I was like, nah, 30, man. I'm 17. I don't think I could spend 30 years of my life in prison, you know what I'm saying? So it just kept going down. So as it kept going down, I kind of knew like the evidence they have is very not, not too much, you know what I'm saying? Because you otherwise you would just stay
Ali,
and
Ali,
you just kept
while
going
you were
down.
while you were fighting your case, were you in county?
Yes, I was in county.
That's where they break you, is county, because
Yeah,
county
yeah.
is like.
Well, I had the choice.
Speak on it, bro. Speak on county.
My parents wasn't, you know, they wasn't they had money, but they wasn't like, you know, like just gonna just give it out like that, you know.
Yeah.
You either make bond or you get a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? I had to choose one or the other.
Ali, was your bond high? Like your first bond?
It wasn't even that high. It was like 150,000, you know what I'm saying? So basically it was like 15,000, you know. But I'd rather take my chances with a $15,000 lawyer than a public defender, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to choose, you know. But the county in Dallas County, it was kind of wild, you know. It's kind of wild. It wasn't, you know. I mean, you know, you just learn as you go, you know. Because like I say, I'd never been incarcerated before, you know.
So that was your first, yeah. So
that's my first time, you know, like juvenile, whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Are you in there young?
Yeah, I was in there young.
And how about you, Curl? Is that about the same lines up? Because you were in Texas also, right? You're in Texas also, as far as you, Curly.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually doing good. I just got caught up on my second time to where I did my longest sentence. I was just doing normal stuff, you know, just going out, drinking and driving, which you shouldn't be doing. And it like hurt a little more because at that point in my life when I got caught up the second time, I had like a family going, you know, I had 2 young daughters and I just got caught up, man. And then, but by me being like going in and out most of my life, I just felt like, you know, I'm the youngest out of 5 boys, and it kind of didn't really dawn on me because I always knew like, hey, my parents is going to get me out. You know what I mean? Like I can always call somebody and somebody's going to come get me out. But this time around, man, there was no coming home. You know, it was like, I knew I had to do time. Like I'm not coming home.
I'm glad you actually, because I was thinking about that as far as, so you're being processed this whole time. You guys are sitting there, you're in the jail. They're trying to break you, like you had mentioned, Isaac. And what that right when you get that actual time, right? When they actually tell you, you know, you're going to be doing this much, right?
Sentencing?
Yeah, you're sentencing. What's your headspace like in transitioning? So it's like, damn, this is going to be it. This is like, I'm really going to have to serve this much. What's the headspace there?
It goes one or two ways, man. Your lawyer will tell you, okay, you know what, this is what you're up against, but the judge can ultimately decide how much time you're going to get. So although your crime carries X amount of weight, we talk to the prosecutor. If you're willing to plead guilty, change your plea from not guilty to guilty, they can't promise you, but they'll recommend this amount of time. But it's essentially up to the judge to decide based on character letters, which is what your family will write saying, yo, Isaac is this and that and the third, or he has a baby on the way, this, that, whatever, you know. It's up to the judge to ultimately decide how much time you're going to get, because you're not going to trial. You're going to, that's really
Isaac,
wrong.
Isaac, let me ask you that. For Fed case, the judge gives you the time, right? Like, it's not really up to the DA. It's what they recommend, and then the judge ultimately gives you the time.
To be 100% honest with you, man, it's let's make a deal, because the prosecutor on my case used to be an intern for my lawyer. So when they originally wanted to give me 14 years, my lawyer called her right away on speakerphone and said, Samantha, have you lost your mind? Like, he's never had an offense before. He has a baby on the way. He's not a flight risk. You're going to recommend 14 years? That doesn't make any sense.
Damn.
And then they were like, well, he wants to fight his case. If he fights his case, that's what we're going to recommend. So as a group plea between myself and my 2 other co-defendants, we all met in Virginia. I was still on bond, and all the lawyers all met up, and we were like, hey, they have a 99 or 95% ratio chance of winning. But
conviction rate. Conviction rate is pretty high.
But they're scared because, like, when we looked at my discovery, my lawyer was like, this is all circumstantial and it's all arguable. If you want to spend the money, I can argue for you. I was like, I don't know if I want to or not. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it was like, what do I do? So essentially, with the evidence looking like what it was for my co-defendant, my cousin, my blood cousin, my first cousin, it was like, damn, it'd be a better look if all of us just pled guilty. So we made the decision to do a group plea as guilty together. And although the prosecutor had recommended 14, she dropped it to 10. And then my lawyer was able to get me 8, but then I got the RDAP time, which is a drug class, and then because of COVID, I got like 8 months of halfway house. So I basically got like almost 2 years off my sentence. You know what I mean? But it was just one of those things where when they tell you what you're gonna get, they could take you in right then and there. So when I went to my sentencing, I had Kristen. I was holding my daughter while they were sentencing me.
You was out on bond? You was out on bond, right?
Yeah, I was out on bond. So I was holding my daughter. I had my auntie, my uncle flying from Toronto. My mom and dad was there. My brother was there. My sister was there. My girl's family was there, you know. And I had talked to my partner that got sentenced before me, and he was like, don't try to apologize and do all that crazy stuff. You should really turn around and apologize to your family before you, because the judge already has in his mind what he's going to give you. So I took the mic, you know, I thanked the judge for his time, the prosecutor, but then I turned my head and I just thanked every family member that was there supporting me. And then I just expected to go in at that point. Like they were going to take my daughter from me and they were going to cuff me up, take me and just ship me out. But the judge showed mercy. He said, you know, you have a family, you have support, you have all these character letters that I read. I'm going to allow you to turn yourself in 3 months. So it gave me time to get my affairs.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So they give you
he's very lenient. Yeah, he's generous.
Yeah, it was a blessing, man. And you know what it was I had like a stack of character letters from everybody in my family. They wrote letters like, I've known Isaac for this long. This is my position of what I do for an occupation. This is an instance that he showed compassion, you know, all throughout the years that he, you know. So it just, the lawyer actually, the prosecutor and the judge actually read those letters. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I was kind of shocked by the system. As far as like my cousin, the max was 20. They gave him 18.
Co-defendant?
You know? Yeah. He's a top of my indictment.
Oh my god. So
you guys, were you guys like arrested for the same thing? All y'all had the same charge?
Yeah. Yeah. There was conspiracy to commit fraud.
Fraud.
Was it everybody's like first offense?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Y'all just got different numbers.
And we thought, and this is the crazy part. If we were if we were indicted in California, it would have been a slap on, because I did the research when I was committing the crime, like, I'm good. I'm going to get community service as my first offense. The reason why they based it out of Virginia, they said that they caught email correspondence going back and forth out of a server in Virginia, and that's how they're able to track the IP address of the
Virginia.
My co-conspirators who told on us, basically. So they said it was in Virginia, so that's why they had to take us to Virginia. And Virginia is a Commonwealth state. It's one of the original 13 colonies, so they go hard over there.
Yeah.
And if you look around, there's not a lot of brown, like not a lot of handsome Filipino guys running around. You know what I mean? So they just were like, oh, this guy's so handsome.
No Ray Rays around.
Yeah.
No Ray Rays over there.
No Ray Rays.
So it was difficult because, you know, mentally I'm like, I had time to prepare myself, but leading up to the sentencing, I like, you know, the night before I didn't sleep. I just held my daughter the entire time. I was in the moment with my family. We went out to dinner at the hotel and, you know, just was thankful to be in this opportunity to be with everybody at the same place at the same time. But I mentally prepared myself that this could be the last time I see them for a little bit. And then fast forward.
That mental preparation then is just once the light turns dark, you know, you shut the lights off and then you're on your way in.
Reality.
That trip in. I mean, you get what, bussed in and right when you're approaching the pen, what's that? I mean, what's going on through your head? It's like, what is going on over there? Because
nobody's ready to go to the pin.
I was scared.
Yeah.
There's no, you can't really set your mind up to be ready to go to the pin.
I mean, you can't be Eminem in the bathroom. Like you're ready to go.
No, I didn't go to a pen, just to be clear. I went to a camp and then I went to a low that used to be a medium that had a gun tower. So all the politics of a medium were still there, like carrying a shiv, all that, you know, wild shit. You know what I mean? Like they never let go of it being a medium. So they were super strict, no hands policy. You know what I mean? So that means like, unless it's a situation where someone's getting DP'd, you're getting poked.
Man.
So Ali, you're not seeing the same situation as where Isaac ended up going. So were you were more in you and Curl, you guys were more in a traditional type of a penitentiary situation or what?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can say that because I've never been locked up. You know, went through the process, you know, county jail and, you know, do whatever.
Yeah.
Jail and prison, you know, is two different things, you know.
So as you
for the common people, they don't really know that. You know, jail and prison is two different things.
Yeah. That's why it's like, well, you know, you're in jail. It's just like there's still time for you to get out, but then
it's an opportunity.
You're gonna be there for a while. So
when
you were in that transitional
Ali,
period.
I can say this though. You know, there's certain county jail that's worse than, let's say, you go to a transfer or some weak ass farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So
because
now don't get it twisted. There's some county jail that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it. The demographic of the county jails for a lot of places are drunks that get caught in the street, shoplifters, homeless people. You know, I had a dude out of the Paisa car every time he got locked up, he would call his brother, have his brother pay a homeless guy to put a bunch of drugs in his butt so he would get locked up on purpose, take out the drugs. They go for 4 times the amount in county jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, Curly.
You're dealing with, you know what I mean?
Certain county jails, but you know, like those county jails, they're like, they have other people from other places. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they call those? You know what I'm talking about? They're not. Yeah, they expect treated differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're not really county.
You get into more of the politics when you hit prison. When you hit the pen, that's when it's more of they're playing.
Like I was saying, like I went in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Back then it was a little bit more, you know, a little bit more controlled, a little bit more rougher. You know what I'm saying? Like we would go to when we catch change from the county, we would go to diagnostics, straight to diagnostics, and it's a 2-week process where you get processed. Then you go to your ID unit, you know. But now, you know, I went back the second time. They had a different process, you know, like go to a transfer facility. And I kind of like, what is that? You know, like I don't know, you know, never had that process, you know. You stay up to 2 years before you go to your ID unit, you know.
And this is all in the same area, or are you getting busted around?
No. It's multiple places.
Man, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere.
To South Texas, East Texas, West Texas. North Texas.
Last I read, Texas has 158 prisons. So, you know,
take your pick. Take your
pick. Whether it's private or state
universities.
So you guys have
it's a fact, bro.
Like Isaac, I've heard you say this quite a bit, and when you were talking to Ali a little bit earlier, you guys were mentioning the same words. Like, what is a car?
Go ahead, Ali.
A car in Texas, we don't really say car. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much I don't know where it originated from. You know, I'm from California. Like in Texas, you know, when I went down in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You have a set of group. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Mexicans, break it down through racial, Mexicans, blacks, and whites. You know what I'm saying? But the Mexicans, you know, they're more from which town you're from. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got West Texas, you got Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, which are kind of like, you know, allies. Then you have El Paso.
Gangs per se. I mean, it's not is it
city? It's city. What city?
Yeah, it's a two-tier system. It's a two-tier system, which is Congo, which is the homeboy system, and then which is the gang system, which is the brother. You know what I'm saying? You don't say, hey, what's up, homeboy? You say, what's up, brother? You know. And they're a little bit more.
How different is that from a car? What's the main differentiation between those two, the gang versus the car? Or
the Tango would probably be more like a heart check, you know, like kind of like
a corazon check.
Yeah, like a heart check. You know what I'm saying? Like you might catch a cell.
Explain what a heart check is.
Explain, Curly.
Explain it. Okay, a heart check is just to see where your heart's at. You either gonna fight, you're gonna fold up. One or the other.
And that's right when you get in.
You don't want to fold up.
There you go.
Because if you fold up, that you just a hole for the rest of your time.
Man,
and
get touched up for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And
you might
fold up. In Texas, they say this thing too. They always say, "Let me take a look at you. I'm gonna have to take a look at you."
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you have to respond quick when they say that. You can't be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Let me look at you.
You might as well just punch him in the mouth as soon as he says that.
It's like calling somebody a bitch. You know what I mean?
I mean, basically, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at you. Means
you just have to understand. You just have to understand the dynamics of your situation. You know.
So, are any of you willing to share your checks? Your hard checks, like I mean,
I've never had a hard check.
I'm
never had a hard check.
You never had.
I mean,
No, in the 90s, like Asian people, like we didn't give hard checks to each other. We give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When I went in, only
as long as
Asians
your
could touch
work's clean.
Asians. Ain't no other
Yeah.
race touching no Asian. You know what I'm saying? So now, after, I can't attest to what's going on now, because the second time I went down, I chose to be by myself. I'm not gonna hold nobody's hand. I'm not gonna babysit nobody. Whatever comes with it, comes with it. I've been down before. I don't need to. I mean, hey, I got love for my Asian people. You know what I'm saying? But you do your own thing. You do your own thing. Hey, more power to you. That's. I just always tell them, man. However you start your sentence, just make sure you end it that way.
Asians do get a lot of pass. Like, there's no we're just not gonna get checked like that.
Yeah.
It's just something about Asians, and then they can see how you carry yourself. I mean, if you go in there and want to be bad, or there's somebody for you, but I just never.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, we just don't get checked like that. They just don't. They just know.
To like the Asian Islander ride, like one thing I could say from the spots I've been to, the Asian Islander ride, they got a lot of paper. They know how to get money. They'll either run a sports ticket, they'll run a poker table, they'll run the store.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we're always good at managing our money. Whether we have money in the streets, whatever we get, we're good at multiplying it. Now I can't speak for everybody. I had a couple of torpedoes in my ride that basically were the guys you send on missions. You know what I mean? But essentially in the West Coast, what they call it a car. And if you had a keys to the car, that means you're the speaker, you're the rep, or you're the shot caller of the ride, whatever you want to call it. But you're the one that, when there's issues with somebody in your car, that speaker will go to you. A Sereno speaker will say, "Hey, your boy so-and-so owes money, man. What are we going to do about it?" So you could be like, how much?
Like a representative. Representative.
Yes. So be like, check it out. He owes you this amount. Check it out. We're going to pay you X amount every week till it's paid off. But at the same time, you're not going to give him any more dope. If you do, that's on you. And you're not going to give him anything from your store. If you do, that's on you. You know what I mean? It's because we have to sort of rectify these problems as is, because our car's small, but we got so much heart, like we can't lose soldiers. You know what I mean? So if one of our guys got vices, it's like, how bad is the vice? If the vice is that bad where he's stealing from another race, that's an automatic. You got to go. You got to go top. You got to go top, bro. No stealing a radio, he's stealing shoes to get high or something like that. Check it out.
So coming in,
corrupt COs, absolutely. Yo, check it out.
They're all corrupt.
So they're all corrupt. These guys, have you seen how much a CO gets paid? They get paid like less than a teacher or something like that, right? So essentially, we call it hitting your 8 and hit the gate. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. So you get two kinds. You'll get the kinds that got bullied hella tough in high school. So when they get there, they want to be super cop. Tip over lockers, trash your shit, dump all your shit in the cell and with the pile where you can't tell what's yours. Or you'll get the ones that'll be like, look, you guys can install Kanikas in your dick all you want. You guys can tattoo your face. I don't care. Just don't come to me unless one of you is bleeding. Those are the cool ones. Yeah. Because you can blast tattoos.
They'll do the 8 hours and move along.
Yeah. Hit the 8 and hit the gate. So yeah, in Atlanta, there was a big ass bus because it's Atlanta. So you got to imagine, Atlanta's the city of Atlanta. It's not like Herlong. It's not like Long Park. It's not like it's in the middle of nowhere and the prison is the only thing that's circulating profit. In Atlanta. So guess who the guards are? The same guy that's trying to sell you a mixtape down the street. So guess what? If you green dot him $300, he's bringing you a cell phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If your girl in the street Venmos him some paper, he's bringing you 10 cell phones. He's bringing you drugs. Yeah. It's all good. You know what I mean? Because one cigarette go for $3. One book is $9, right? So that's $27 for a cigarette. So imagine what a pack of cigarette costs. So if he brings you a carton of cigarettes and you're hiding a pack of cigarettes and you're selling Lucy's on the yard or selling a pack on the yards, do the math, man. A carton of cigarette has how many in the 20, right? And there's 20 in one pack, and that's $20 for one stick.
20 times 20.
Just imagine the toothpick joints going for like $5 to $10, and you know what's in a toothpick?
Nothing. They're spraying up sheets of K2. They're bringing in Suboxone for you. They're bringing in cell phones. They're bringing in cigarettes. They're bringing in all sorts.
They're making like 1,000% profit.
Yeah,
man, more than 1,000.
When it does get in there, when all the
I told you we had a Lao CO when I went to Amarillo, right? This guy, he was all tough and all that, right? There's about 15 Asians there, and they never talked to him, But when I went over there, I said, hey. This is Lao CO over here? And he goes, yeah, but he's an asshole, da-da-da. So I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Well, I have a homeboy that stays there in town, right? So he come visit me. He's like, hey, there's a guy in there, man, and he's a CO. I said, oh, you know him? I said, yeah, man, he da-da-da-da-da, whatever. I said, but they say he's an asshole in here. And he goes, ah, man, that dude's a pussy. You know what I'm saying? I said, for real? So, you know what I'm saying? I said, what's his name? What's his first name? So he tells me the first name, right? So he worked on a couple weeks later, he worked on my pod, right? So he walks by, and I was like, hey, what's up? He just looks at me like, I was like, oh, okay. So the next in and out comes around, right? He walks by. So I said, hey, what's up? I call him by his first name.
They trip out on that shit. You're not supposed to know their first name.
He stopped everything and came right back and got in my face. How the fuck you know my name? And I started laughing. I was like, oh, you must know my homeboy. And I said my homeboy's name. And then his demeanor kind of like, oh, that's your homeboy? I said, yeah, that's my homeboy. So after that, you know what I'm saying, he got kind of relaxed with me. And then, you know what I'm saying, I whether he was corrupted or what, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying, he used to bring us, you know, I would get him to bring us, you know, the doggy bag, the little white styrofoam cup. Go to a restaurant, let me get a whatever. He would charge us $20 cash money for fried rice, just fried rice. Yep. You know, fried rice. Damn. And then a water bottle full of vodka. You know what I'm saying? You know, vodka doesn't have no scent. So every water bottle of vodka is like $20. Well, I had a homeboy in there, right? The Laos guy, he'd been locked up like 20-something years, you know what I'm saying? And he even had sticky rice and the beef jerky for a long time, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, I call him I, you know, it's out of respect. I was like, all right, what you want to eat this week? He goes, man, I sure would like some, you know, sticky rice and this. I said, I got you, man. So when he worked on the pod, you know what I'm saying? Man, he was taxing us because his parents had a restaurant. So basically it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? Everything he charged was $20, you know, cash money, you know. So I got my homeboy some sticky rice and some tomato gel and the beef jerky. Oh my God, I've never seen nobody tear it up so fast. Yep. You know, but it's just facts, man. Yeah, that's just how it goes.
So it's right when you make the connections. I mean, are you looking for that in your?
No.
It's a two-way street, bro. They gotta know that they can trust you too, and you gotta know that you can trust them. So a lot of times it'll start off small, like you go there, you chop it up with them, you talk with them, you give them the respect, like, yo, man.
Yeah. The thing with me and him, I don't have. I'm a very humble person. I don't have the ego like that. I told him, hey, continue to act like you act. Like, hey, my word is my word. You don't have to worry about nothing. My friends, my homies, the other 15 Asians, they if I would have told them that, hey, I'm getting stuff from him, they would never believe it in a million years. So I kept it like that, like you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they don't ask, I don't tell them, you know what I'm saying, and he continues to act the way he acts towards them, you know what I'm saying, and sometimes, you know, like when he comes around, he'll say what's up to me. I don't initiate it, you know, I play my role, and he wouldn't like, hey, what's up, and they'll be like, damn, Ollie. And we've been here 15 years. That motherfucker, he ain't never said what's up to us. You only been here a couple months. He said, what's up to you? Like, God damn, what you doing? I don't know. I say, what's up? I say, what's up? You know? Shit. You know?
So there's obviously, you know, the question of like some crazy shit going down. Is like, what's the craziest shit that you guys seen go down? I mean, is that like on the daily or like what? Okay, tell me.
I mean, you want to define crazy. I mean, crazy.
Everything
crazy. When you're in there, it could be normal. You know what I'm saying? When you're there, it could be normal. But if you're out here, you can tell a story. You'd be like, oh,
normal. So
no. Here,
everything is for sale in prison. Like you could clean up a pair of shoes and sell them, or radio. When a homie leaves, you're supposed to take the stuff and give it to the next guy that comes in. But sometimes people will sell that.
Yeah.
But the paisa is kind of wild. So if you can get a hold of dominoes, not the wood ones you buy in commissary, or not the plastic ones that come in commissary, but sometimes people can get away with getting like the good. It's kind of like a fake porcelain marble type material. So what the paisas will do is they'll break up the marble. They'll break up the domino into pieces. Then they'll steal a piece of sandpaper and they'll shave it into like a Playboy bunny or a heart or a caterpillar. It's called a kanika. That means like marble or penny. So then they'll do is they'll sterilize it with hot water and whatever they want to sterilize it with. They'll get a toothbrush and they'll get it sharp. And then one guy will hold up your wiener. The other guy will poke it right through and then shove the kanika in, right? So you got like a bump.
You're a participant in that?
So here's the funny thing. If you come across those dominoes, people will load up their dick with hella kanikas, go to a different yard and be like, I got kanikas for sale. Expunge them shits from themselves, clean them off, and then the paisas will have them inserted into themselves.
So, I mean, what exactly is that? And why would
It's
you
like
want it? I know, but it's like, okay,
I'm not a bicycle. I don't know,
like,
but they
You
basically
started a story. Go ahead
I know,
and
but okay,
finish it up, Isaac.
maybe
You
to
gotta
find the
explain.
male G spot. I don't know, but they would basically take them
Hold up.
shits out.
What? So
Maybe to find a male G spot. I don't know.
We have a lot of time. You have to understand we
They
have a
have
lot of
time in
time
their
in it.
head,
So
man.
all
Okay,
kinds
so-
of things just
What? So
We
that
have a
was
lot
for
of time
sale,
in
and
there.
it's like, so somebody else pulls it out of their own thing and then they insert it in somebody else's.
I was
Okay.
on a bus with
Well,
some
that's
dude,
new.
and he was like, the dude was like, "What's your hustle gonna be?" He was hella excited to tell me. I was like, "I'm straight. I don't really need a hustle. I'll be all right. But I'm pretty sure if I
Kanika.
need to figure something out, I will." So he said, "I was like, why? What's yours?" And he was like, "Oh man, I got like 7 Kanikas in me." I was like, I just
Bro,
got up out my seat, and I was like, "I'm out, man. I just moved to another
Hold up.
seat. I don't want to see or hear that
He
shit."
said 7.
oh, hold on. Ali,
Yeah.
Ali, Curly, what did you? What? Did you guys have that over there too?
I mean, I
Happened
know what he's
everywhere, bro.
talking about.
You know what
I
he's
know what
talking
he's
about.
talking
It's like a
about,
prison
but I've never like.
I understand it's a prison thing. That's what I'm asking. It's a prison episode. Did y'all get some over there too?
Nah, I've
No,
never. I know what he's talking about, and I'm not knocking it or anything. I just don't.
You said that was the craziest story to me. I was just like, if you gotta
That's
survive
crazy.
doing that,
Like
I gotta give it to you, you know?
to us,
Yeah,
that's not
that's
crazy. That's normal, you know.
yeah,
You know, prison is a community. It's like a community. The only thing we're missing is 2 things: freedom and
pussy.
I can't even say females because there's some female
No,
guards in that show. But other than that, the only thing you're missing is just freedom and got everything else. Got drugs, got everything else. You know, whatever you want, got everything else. It's a community.
It's your freedom.
You're only missing freedom.
It's freedom.
Everything.
You can get.
Not everybody can get whatever,
anything.
but not everybody get whatever, but some people can get whatever.
It's that money. Just what 10 just put up there. Money.
Yeah.
Money is money.
Yeah,
No,
money is money.
Money.
What he said.
Because like I
If
said,
that's where your
everything
mind
is like
frame is at, is that's where your mind frame
everything's
is at?
1,000% profit. Like
Yeah.
who
So this
wouldn't
dude, right?
do?
So what he just mentioned here, bottle top and a pen tube. I mean, for us people that have no clue what the hell, like me, I have no clue what the hell that means.
Yeah,
What does that
yeah.
mean?
Prison slang, man. You could write a book about prison slang.
So somebody write a book so I can read it because I want to know what that means.
It's a dictionary, man. It'd be a
God damn.
dictionary.
Yeah, they got their own dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah, we got our own dictionary in there, man. You can mix it in with a little Spanish and a little Latin, a little, Ebonics and all that. It all come out the same.
So does that align with one of your crazy stories, Ali, Curly? Just Kanikas? That's the first thing that we go to with the crazy stories?
Yeah,
That's
one of my crazy stories.
It's crazy out here.
I really wouldn't even say it because it is the craziest, but I don't know if it would be considered appropriate on this type of platform, but that would be the craziest. So maybe I have to scale it down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, give us the PG-13 version or the rated R. It sounds like this is.
I mean, the craziest. It's like a PG-13. The craziest is seeing one of the toughest one in there turn gay.
Gay for staying.
That's crazy. To me, that's fucking crazy. Like, I mean, apparently I've seen speakers, guys that hold the keys to the car, whatever, however you want to call it. Come to find out, you fucking with boys. You know what I mean?
And they call it boy pussy, and that shit's gross.
Yeah, and they think it's normal. That shit is not
They
normal.
think it's normal.
That is not normal. You know what I mean? I'm not homophobic or anything like that. But for me to see somebody that's super stiff.
That stuff it happens in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a form of acceptable. You know what I'm saying? But because that stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be like, oh god damn, what the fuck? Like everybody's just gonna be shocked and surprised. You know what I'm saying? That's going on.
It's shocking when you're like known to be one of the toughest. You feel me?
Oh yeah. If it happens to that individual, of course. But I'm just saying, like from the outside, just looking in, like it's happening. It's like you're not gonna be like just like, what the fuck? What are they doing? Like just being just oblivious. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that type of stuff, happen. But yeah, you're right. Like for somebody like that, I mean, hey.
So obviously,
there'd be some guys with wife, kids. They get a visit every week. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then You come
Yes.
find out that he's switching rooms with somebody else, paying for a sale so he could be in a room all day with this dude. It's like,
Yes, yes,
holy
yes,
shit,
yes.
you know, like
Most definitely,
I
most definitely.
literally was working out with you the other day, and now
Mhm.
I'm gonna go do jumping jacks by myself.
Yeah. I have experiences where, like, I'll be in visitation, you know what I'm saying, and then, such and such is like right next to me, you know what I'm saying, with his wife and kids, talking lovey dovey, and I would just look over and I was just like, I would just shake my head, and then my mom be like, "What's wrong? You know him?" I just be like, because it's just the thought that just comes in your head. You're like, "What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude got
Yeah.
wife and kids, you know what I'm saying? But in there, you're like, yes, you're like living a double life, or what? I don't know what they call it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Obviously.
And
yeah,
he's gonna go home one day.
hands. You're already
What
holding
I don't
hands with
get
your
is
wife,
some of
and you
these
have
guys,
your
they can
kids.
turn out, they know they're going home. Now, I mean, I
Yeah,
guess I might can understand if you're not going home.
Curly. In Texas, 90% of rape is really not happening in Texas.
No,
90%
it's
rape is really not.
no, they're giving it up.
Rape the willing.
Yeah, it's consensual. It's consensual.
Yeah, they're giving it up. They're not yet.
It's consensual.
you can't rape
You
the
have a
willing,
choice. You have a choice. The only time you don't have a choice if it's it's two big bubbles and whatever. But you know what I'm saying. But that's you done did something for you not to. But you always have a choice. You always have the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. You can't call it rape.
when
You
you're
can't call
laying
it
on
rape.
your back getting beat missionary.
Yeah, you can't call it rape if you have a choice.
Yep.
Okay, let's have a
Yeah.
moment there.
No, yeah, I just don't want to, a lot of people like, oh, people getting raped. Nobody's getting raped in prison, like what you hear, Yeah,
So there
much.
comes to a point where people just end up breaking, and they just say, you know what?
I don't know what it could be, man. A lot of
it's an
people,
interesting
Curly and
dynamic.
Ali were saying, we've seen people who have short bids. We call them short timers, and then they get there, and it's like the last 3 months they got their date already, and then they just turn loose like that, and then it's like, I don't get it. Some people, when they fall, they don't get visits. Like, I was a fortunate one where when the COs would see the IDs of my people coming in, they'd be like, damn, Washington State and California? I'd be like, yeah, they're flying, picking up my daughter and bringing her to me, or my daughter and them are driving up to see me, or my in-law. So I would get a visit every month. And no matter what I was at, I could be at Mars. Someone's going to come see me. You know what I mean? And these are the same people that in the visit, they get a visit every week religiously because their family moved to that town for them or lives in that town to see them. And then on the weekend, they just, like Ali said, live in that double life. So it's kind of like, to me, like it had to be always in you, or maybe you're just bilingual and bi-curious. I don't know.
No, in the 90s, the white boys, they basically, they're the ones that had it rough. They're the reason that they set up that PREA stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Curly?
PREA,
because they had to protect the white boys. Because 98% of the white boys back there in the 90s.
Pause. Explain the PREA Act to them.
Exactly what PREA. What is PREA?
I really PREA. Curly could more expand on to that because it was coming in during his time. I was still locked up, and I really wasn't really into like that time, the prison politics of it, because I don't engage in that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I think PREA was a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really feel bad for people, but there's certain people that's in there that they get taken advantage of. I don't like seeing that. You know what I mean? Like,
PREA, Raymond, is that
I don't like seeing that either. I don't like seeing that either. But I don't. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
You know what I'm saying? And
Isaac, go ahead. Your stage. Go ahead.
PREA stands for Prison Rape Elimination Act, and it's basically a hotline that victims can call when they're just, and it's super anonymous, and then they'll go lock that fool up. But it's not necessarily anonymous, because if you're a punk, you know what I mean, and people know you are a punk, and all of a sudden, dude gets put up top, it's like, okay, you're a punk and a snitch. So it just makes it kind of worse for you. Then at that point, they just put you in the shoe and they just ship you out somewhere. But as soon as you get your shipping orders and you hit a yard, anything you do on one yard is always going to follow you to another yard. So if you were a dope fiend and you had a debt,
not just the yard, the unit, not just the yard, the unit.
So if you go to the shoe, let's say some people, they'll raise debts for drugs, so they'll raise debts for gambling. They'll check in and be like, I don't feel safe in the yard. I need to go to the shoe. And then they'll try to get a transfer. As soon as you get to the next yard, either they're going to know why you're there, why you got shipped out, or they want to see your lockup order. They want to see your lockup order to make sure you're straight.
Happens all the time. Yeah. Happens all the time. Even though, people think prison in Texas, they have 150, some people thinking they go to the unit, they can start their
No, the
homework.
internet changed everything. You can just
Yeah.
call home and check up on you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's another
everything
thing. Hitting a yard, when you're hitting a yard, the guys in the laundry are gonna know your number so they can check. Obviously, this is the common mistake I would get. My last name is Perez, so everybody thought I was a paisa. Right when I hit the yard, the paisas would run up on me and they'd be like, "Tino?" I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, "But your last name's Perez." And then I got my daughter's handprint on me. That's an MA sign. That's a black. That's the Mexican mafia sign. So
Oh shit.
a couple of times they were like, I would just like, is my daughter, and then I would show them like the birth date, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay." But it was super confusing because the laundry list comes with your number, and it comes with your first and last name. So obviously, if it's a Hispanic name with 5 names in it, their paisas are all over it, you know. Or the Sereños are really good at checking work before it comes in.
Yeah.
But the Islanders, right? You know, if it's a Uso last name or a Laos last name, which are really easy to distinguish, or a Cambodian last name, or you know. But I'm Filipino, so my last name's Perez, and so the paisas will run up on me to be like, "Oh shit, no, that's not you." So it's an easy thing, like Curly was saying, to check up on pacer.gov. You could pull up anybody's case and indictment and see what they're in there for. So you could check and see if they're
that's easy. Everything's easy now, man.
Yeah.
They don't even ask for your paperwork no more. They already know your paperwork.
Yeah.
So let's transition a little bit here as far as like when you're in there. So you're spending your time, you know, all this stuff is going on around you. But it's supposed to be a rehabilitation situation, right? So what's
not in Texas? Not in Texas.
Ali, you had mentioned during, I think Ali and I and Curly had some lunch and kind of tap base on this whole thing. You had mentioned you were in there, you were taking some classes, right? And I think a lot of people
that's for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a homeboy, right? He's a little bit younger than me, you know what I'm saying? He was 16, I was 17, right? So, you know, I'm still kind of wild in my ways, right? So one weekend I fell out of place to go, you know, "Hey, what's up, man? Let's go to the rec yard, man, and you know, go fuck around and play some whatever, you know." And he's like, "Ah, man, I gotta study." I'm like, "Study?" I said, "Man, you come to prison to study, man?" And I turn around, he's got like 4 or 5 textbooks opens on his mattress, right? And he's like, man, you should take advantage of, you know what I'm saying? They're giving out free college and shit, you know. But me, you know, I was college. I ain't come to prison, come to college, you know what I'm saying? But luckily, you know, I come to my senses later on, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know what? Hey, free stuff in here. You know, you take advantage of it, you know. So I signed up for college. Boom, you know, they sent me to a unit. You know, I got my associate's degree in business management, you know, Amarillo Junior College. Shout out Amarillo Junior College.
Hey.
Thank you for the degree, you know. I ain't applied it to nothing, but you know, thank you for the degree, though.
He didn't use it.
You take any classes?
That shit collecting dust.
You take any classes, Carl?
I was able to take I think 1 semester. I had made parole, so once you make parole, they kick you out of college. I was able to take it last because I wasn't able to take it since I'm technically not like a citizen type shit. Wenham, yeah, that's it, Wenham. But you know, I wish I was able to, because you know I was in there for about eight and a half years, but I wasn't able to take my college courses until like later on, just for the simple fact that it was
like when we were back then, you know what I'm saying? If you were under 24, it was free. Like all the academics, every last course, all the way up to your 64th credit, it was all free, you know.
I was going on my 40th birthday, bro, when I took it.
But it's bullshit though. They literally give you all the homework and just tell you to turn it in, and then they give you a Scantron and tell you to take a test.
When I graduated.
Did you
What's that, Isaac? What'd you say?
Did you partake, Isaac?
I did actually. I had my transcript transferred over to the local college that was there. They show up, they give you a shit ton of books for whatever classes you choose after you take like a assessment test or whatever, and then they check in you once a month to pick up homework, and then but it's pretty much like you said, they start to charge you for it. So it's like, man, you guys should be giving this to us.
Yeah,
I thought that was the case.
When I went down now second time, I mean, they were only paying for one curriculum. But the first time I was down there, they were paying for all the way up to your 64 credit, math, social, whatever. I don't know. I took all the subject. It was free. You know, I took advantage of it.
That was my situation. They weren't giving me the Pell Grant until I filed some
Yeah,
kind of paperwork. I had
we didn't
somebody
have to
help me
take no
out.
grant. You know, I don't know what we
I
did.
had somebody help me
As
out.
long as you passed the Texas SAS test or whatever they call it, the you know the college entry exam test. As long as you pass that, you're good. I don't know what it's called, but it was a thick book, but I passed it though, so I don't know.
So during that time, okay, so you guys are going through the motions, and there's you've kind of assimilated, you've just kind of settled in, and then you kind of go through this hump of like, okay, everything is just I'm just living life here, and then you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here pretty soon. What's
So go ahead.
what's that? Where's the headspace go there? Because Isaac, you were telling me before, you're like, man, and also with Curly, you had lost somebody outside, and you kind of it started kind of changing things in your head there, and just like all I really want to do is just is make the motions and moving out. So Isaac, you had your own story also to where it's like, you know what, I'm out, and you talk to your group. Can you expand on that?
So going in, like, you know, when day one, you only do 2 days, man. The day you come in and the day you leave. So the first day you get if you have good, you know, dudes in your ride, they'll coach you through on how to get through your time, right? So at first I was kind of just drifting through, and eventually the dude in my ride was like, look, you got to stretch ahead of you, man. So I'm gonna walk you through what you need to do. He was like, first is do your laundry every day, even if you got nothing to do. It just gives you something to do. The second thing is work out. You know, you're a little bit out of shape. Go ahead and get yourself back. This is the time to get you right. You know what I mean? You got a daughter? He's like, yeah. So you want to make sure you're there for your daughter. So this is how you can get yourself right. So they get you sort of on a routine. So everything is routine. You know what I mean? You wake up, you have breakfast, you either go to work or you work out, or you just do what you do until it's time for lunch. And then, you know, you hit yard. And then our TV is never off sports. It's always on sports. So either we're watching a sports program or watching something like The Voice or something. I don't know, whatever. So we have certain set programs that we watch, but it always stays on sports. And then you just start getting through the motions of, you know, year one goes down. And one thing is that's a super flex in there is if you get a lot of mail. So when mail call hits and you get tons of pictures and magazines, people are like, damn, that fool was popping in the streets. He wasn't a piece of shit like me. Shit. He's get, you know, people come to me sometimes and they'd be like, hey, can I see your pictures? And I'd be like, yeah, like my cousin hit the Philippines. He sent me hella pictures of the Philippines. They would go like, damn, man, that's cool. That's cool. Can I have this? I want to paint it. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, man. You know, and you start picking up hobbies here and there. I learned how to crochet. I would crochet fucking dolls and send them to my daughter. You know, people learn how to paint with oil paintings. You know, it's just all routine, and that helps you. So you wake up early so you can go to bed early. Or you want to stay up all night, play poker, you can too. You look forward for your next visit. But as you know, you get halfway through, you're just like, shit, I'm doing well. I'm halfway through. I don't have any vices. I'm good to go. I got a shit ton of tattoos now. All right, we're good. You know, you keep pushing on, and then all of a sudden yeah, I got my whole body blasted, man.
Oh, that's nice.
And then you know, at first you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel, and then when you're getting towards the end and your name's coming up to that date, you get the light is actually at there. It's not just a train coming at you. You know, I was looking forward to going out because I had family members that I was excited to see.
But you had a date though, right? Federal, you had a date though, right?
Yeah, but COVID hit, so it got pushed back. So at the time, they offered this class called RDAP, and it's the drug abuse resistance residential drug treatment program. And if you take the class, it's a 9-month class. You take it, you log in the correct amount of hours, and then you get a year off your sentence. But the trick to it is, while you're in prison, if you get a shot for anything, for having an untucked shirt, that means you're not living up to the RDAP values. They take that fucking year back. So a lot of guys who have RDAP, they'll take it towards the very end of their bid. Like the beginning of your bid, you don't want to take RDAP to get caught with a fresh tattoo. You get a shot, you lose that year, and you just lost 9 months of taking that class. Damn. So you take RDAP towards the end, and once you get your date, they give you that halfway house too. And because COVID hit, it stopped all the classes. So we were like, "The fuck are we gonna do? I don't want to sit here any longer." Yeah. Eventually, you know, visits got modified to behind the glass visits to no visits to depending on how many people were getting infected.
So for me it was during COVID.
Yeah. So for me,
kind of the transition during that time.
Okay. It wasn't worth it for my family.
That was the interesting part. I was really never got a chance. That's why I want to listen to Curly's thing. like during the COVID thing.
Same thing with Curly, man. It sucked, dude.
It sucked, bro.
The prisons aren't set up for this type of thing called a pandemic. They don't have units where they can quarantine you at. They're not expecting people to all get sick and it spread throughout the whole prison. Eventually, after they said, fuck, this quarantine shit isn't going to work because people keep sneaking to other units to go get drugs or to go fucking do whatever they do. And they're infecting whole units. You know what I mean? What happens eventually is they just lock down all the units. So everything gets locked down. And the cops hate that shit because we can't go to work, which means they're cooking the food. They're doing the laundry. They're doing the commissary. Go ahead, Kurt.
I was gonna say the only thing that really helped out because of COVID, is people was actually making parole. That was it.
That's facts.
That's
facts.
But
that was it.
Like the process. How long was the process of that though? Even though that you were making parole.
How was the process they did it to where they did it to where once you make parole, you leave from that unit. When your release date comes up, you're walking out that unit. So you don't go to you know how they usually ship you to the Bird or something. Or like the walls, you're walking out that unit.
You walk out that unit.
We had CARES Act
with the bus ticket and everything.
No, your family come pick you up. You don't need no bus ticket.
Would they give you ample time to notify them to what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, like 2 days before you get released, they're gonna make sure, hey, is your people coming up here at this time?
Yeah,
and that's it. If they don't show up, then they will take you to the walls unit, and then they'll give you your bus ticket. But if you can have somebody come pick you up, if you can have somebody pick you up, you're walking out to your unit.
Man,
that was the only thing that was good.
Man, that's a great feeling walking out of that unit, man. That's a great feeling.
Yeah. I did like 6 years at that unit, bro, and I damn near wanted to say fuck everybody before I walked out, but I wasn't going, you know what I mean? I wanted
everybody's on their bunk. Everybody's on their bunk on COVID restriction.
No, I was talking about like all the asshole guards, like.
Oh yeah.
That's when you walk out, they have the service desk where they keep the dickhead laws right there in front. So I seen everybody, and I wanted to. They see me there.
But isn't it crazy to go past that gate that you first see when you come off the bus? You don't get to go through that front part. When you come off the bus, they bring you in and you go in through the intake area where you go to R&D. But when you get out, you walk by these guys and you're like I'm in my grays or whatever.
I was in my free world clothes, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're shipped in.
Clothes.
Yeah, so you're just and then looking at you like, the fucked up thing they can say is you'll be back, but
that's what they said.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Hey,
yeah,
they can say all they want. They can say all they want. Yeah. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I ain't coming back today.
The thing with, like I was saying, with prison, it's not designed for a pandemic. So what the prison system did is they just waited for everybody to get infected. People died. Yes, that happened. Were we expecting that? No, because the news that we were watching, we're like thinking in our heads, some of us aren't going to survive this. That's just what it is. So let's just see what we could do. In the meantime, things were shuffled around. There was a little bit of changes in regards to communication because I worked in commissary after I got better and they needed commissary workers. I went back to work. So I was moving to every unit. So every DAP I was given, boom, boom. Like I was pulling kites, passing money back and forth just to get shit to my people to make sure they were straight. Like 2-minute meetings while I'm passing out commissary. You good? What's going on in here? Like, oh shit. All right, fuck that fool. You know what I mean? Like, it was difficult because then we didn't get to have yard at all. So everyone's working out in a tiny unit and they're just trying to disinfect as much as they can. That shit stink. You know what I mean? We have swamp coolers. We got swamp coolers. It's not a real air conditioning. It's water underneath a cooler that's chilled and shoots the air in. So it's in Texas, man. It's 113 degrees outside at 6 o'clock at night. It's hella hot in the unit,
Oh yeah, especially in the barnyard, like a 10.
Once people started getting CARES Act, which is basically if you have underlying, if you have high blood pressure, if you are a certain age, you have asthma, they'll CARES Act you. They're going to give you max halfway house and they're going to get you out of there, whatever you got. But the stipulation on that is if you commit another crime, obviously you go back and serve the rest of your time. You know what I mean? But even getting out, they put us in a quarantine unit. So you have to remain 3 weeks clean, no positive test, and then you could go. The day I left, they tested positive. Everybody reset back to 0. So they kept switching dates back for some of these people, and it was like frustrating for them. It's like a roller coaster. It happened to you, right?
It happened to me, yeah.
So you're like, hey, I'm gonna go home. All of a sudden, it's like, yo, someone tested positive. We're all going back to 0. It's like, fuck. You gotta call your family. Like, it's gonna be another 3
how many
weeks.
times did you catch it when you was in there, Curly?
What?
COVID.
Like
COVID?
twice?
Did you catch
COVID?
COVID when you
I
were
caught it
in there?
like twice. It was like 2 times.
And how did you know that you caught it? How did you know that you caught it?
That no taste, no smell, shit like that.
Yeah, wasn't that scary the first time?
Like cold sweats at night.
Yeah.
Well, especially
that was
bad.
the scariest.
Especially with everybody
sucked,
not
but-
knowing anything about this is a novel virus, right? So it's like now all of a sudden you're feeling it, you're like, oh damn, what is this?
Yeah.
Is
The
that
first round of COVID for everybody, I think, was the worst because you get the backaches, the chills, and no taste, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? So it's scary for people because you hear other people, oh, Unit 3 got hit, everybody's sick in there, and you're just like, it's just a matter of time before it hits us, you know? You're just waiting.
You get it, Isaac?
Yeah. So the day after, so every holiday they give you a dope ass lunch, but then they give you a sack dinner. And usually the sack dinner has like some sort of fly dessert or something like that, something we don't always get on commissary or whatever. So the next day I had a piece of cheesecake chilling in a Tupperware with ice in it. I had it chilled. So I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat this cheesecake, and it had this black coffee, you know. I drank the coffee and I was like, oh no. I ate the cheesecake and I was like, oh shit, this is Black Friday. And then I knew I got it. And then everybody in the unit got it. And then they chipped us to some bullshit quarantine unit with like, it was basically like an open gym with bunks. It was like open rack. And we just sat there. And
so when you got it, did you have to like notify them like, hey, I got it, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, they were testing us every Friday, and they had just tested us that Wednesday because it was Thanksgiving on a Thursday. So they tested us, and I was like, the next test wasn't until that following week. So even if you told them, they'd be like, just wait. The guards weren't even doing any searches though, so everybody was fucking getting tattoos. Like I seen so many face tattoos hit, it was crazy. Because they didn't want to walk into the units because everyone's sick, you know?
Yeah.
So the CEOs would keep the door shut, and they would just be like, "No, you guys need a form." They would slide it into the door. Get out of here.
So, Isaac, you had mentioned that. Well, actually, Curly had mentioned in his episode, in the episode we were in, he was like, that was actually a good thing, especially, you know, because people were making parole. Is that pretty much? You had mentioned also something to me to where you guys had a meeting in the yard and the debts were all clear.
So since the units were basically getting shut down, it was more along the lines where every unit was in charge. Like if you were a rep for that unit, you made the decisions for that unit. You didn't need to bring it to the Saturday when everybody's talking about, hey, so-and-so is doing this, so-and-so is that. But we made the decisions like kind of like breaking bread with each other. So it wasn't like debts were squashed, but when people started dying, it was kind of like, hey, everybody look out for themselves. Instead of mandatory workouts, we're doing mandatory masks, everybody. You know what I mean? And then obviously once that started to clear up and people got better, those debts came back. Like I think Ali said, those debts go to your deathbed, man. You don't get rid of them debts.
I'm sure it was a little bit. So was that a little bit different in your guys' area? Oh no, where'd Ali go? How about you, Curl? Is that the same thing? Did you guys have any conversations around like everybody else in your unit there, to where it's like, you know, if there's any beef or if there's any debt towards anybody else, we're gonna go ahead and kind of squash that for the time being until we actually survive this thing?
No. But I mean, if it did, it didn't involve me because I never got involved. I wasn't.
You kind of just stayed in your own place.
I stayed in my own lane, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was already in my 40s, bro. I wasn't trying to. What they had going on in prison, that's them. I just wanted to go home.
I want to go home.
Yeah, like I don't care what you got going on over there. Like the things, sometimes you just gotta mind your business, man. You just don't get involved with certain things. I don't like getting involved with other people. That's the best thing. I mean, if it doesn't concern me, what is that? What is that word? If it don't apply, let it fly, right?
Yeah, if it doesn't concern you, it doesn't.
I think it's
if it don't apply, let it fly, man. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
I think it's what you eat don't make me shit.
Yeah, you know, like. So I'm sure stuff like that happened, or I just didn't care. You know?
Yeah, it was going around, you know, just
because I didn't owe nobody and nobody owed me.
That's all that matters.
That's all I cared about. I just wanted to go home. I just knew I made parole and I wanted to go home.
How long did it take for you after you made parole for that process to be finalized and
I made parole
through all that COVID stuff?
I made parole 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this
you
kind
got
of
your
like goes
answer
with
2
this.
days before Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
called
got your
home.
answer.
Yeah. So
No,
this
no,
goes
Did
to
you
the,
did you tell people? Did you tell people when you got your date, or did you keep it to yourself?
I told the people that I was like cool with, because I actually cried because I was on the phone. I think I called home Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And everybody knows I'm waiting on an answer. Like the people that I'm cool with know I'm waiting on an answer.
Yeah.
So everybody knows like I'm always on the phone, like, hey, let me use the phone. And they know I'm trying to get
What
my
phone?
answer.
What
yeah,
phone?
yeah.
Nah, I didn't use no Jag. Hey, I was
Did
going
you
home,
ever
bro.
did you ever put a sock on a phone to talk and get
Nah,
it
hey,
disinfected?
we had disinfected, in a spray
Yeah.
bottle. So
But
you
some
wipe
people
down
would
the
actually
phone.
put socks on a phone, like that's gonna stop them from getting COVID.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
okay.
goodness.
What were they using though?
So I would call
Was
home,
it
and then
was it on a
when I found
Kanika?
out my answer, I actually cried. I just hung up the phone, went to my rack, and I cried, bro. Like,
Yeah. That's
It was
big,
time to
man.
go.
That's
It's
huge.
time to
shit.
go home.
Yeah.
So now you're right there at the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're that process of getting out.
The unit was on. Well, our wing was on lockdown regardless, because there was 54 people in my wing.
Mm-hmm.
So if 15 people test positive, they're locking your wing down. Well, my wing was already on lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like, "We're gonna test y'all again. We're gonna test y'all again in 2 weeks." And so we came up. We
What
came
kind of
up for
test were they using? The swab? The swab thing?
Yeah.
your nose, yeah, it was your nose. They use your nose.
That rapid test.
So
Yeah,
we came back up. We came back up for 2 days, and I called my brother. I was like, "Hey, is my release date on there yet?" He was like, "No, it's not on there, man. Your unit's
Oh,
on
it shows
lockdown."
online. It shows online. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
but if your unit is on lockdown, they're not releasing nobody. So I'm like, damn. And he was like, so I called back. I was like, okay, my wing's on lockdown. So they let us up for 2 days. I called my brother. He was like, oh yeah, your release date just came up. January 18th or something like that.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking I'm gonna go home, right? Like January 18th. So 2 weeks before, like right after New Year's, I called my brother, and he was like, man, they took your shit off. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, what happened? I was like, shit, I don't know. I think there's 3 wings on our hallway that's on lockdown. And he was like, well, now they're saying the whole unit has to be like 70% negative test, And I'm like, man, that's bullshit. My wing's not on lockdown, Why did they take my shit off? And he's like, man, shit, I don't know. I mean, you don't have a release date no more. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, man, hey, get the warrant down here.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Like you said, they were letting people make parole, but
But
saying
they're
how
not
was that
releasing you.
process of really just getting out the front door, like
Right, yeah. So it was
it-
harder. It was harder for me to get a release date than to make parole. That's a fucked up feeling, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I already made parole, and you're not gonna let me go home.
yeah.
Like, man, anything can happen here.
I
I
had a
can,
similar situation, and it wasn't even pandemic.
Yeah. That shit was crazy. So
Yeah.
it was pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty. I didn't
stressful,
like.
huh? Pretty stressful.
Oh, it was hella stressful. Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I had a similar situation, and it didn't have nothing to do with the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? I was on the way home. I done made parole. I made parole for February, right? February 2015, but I didn't get out to April 2015. All because they didn't have my dental records.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
They can just jack you around just like that.
I caught chain with the guys with the same parole. You know what I'm saying? Get out before March, and then I went to
They took you to the walls?
No. I went to the walls the third time to get out, but like I said, see, third time. The first time I just went to the next unit that crosses over, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't call my name. They didn't call my name, so I'm like, well, I have a long last name, so I'm like, oh, they probably put my shit all at the end because they never want to say my name, So then they didn't call my name, so I was like, excuse me, hey, I'm supposed to be going on that bus going down south. And he's like, what's your name? I tell him my name. He goes, nah, you're not on here. And then he goes, hold on, I didn't call your name. I'm the only one his name didn't call. He goes, let me see what bus you're on. And he goes, oh, you're going back to Torres unit. You're going to Torres unit. I said, but I just came from there. He goes, well, I don't know. This is what the card says. So I'm like, what the fuck? Take me all the way back to my unit, you know? And he was there. He's like, man, what's up, man? What's up with your case, man? And I was like, I don't know, man. They sent me back, man. I don't know why. So I go in there and talk to the parole lady, like, hey, what's up? Like, you know, and he goes, oh, they don't have your dental records. I'm like, what?
Dang.
I said, all these years they don't have my dental records. At that time, they had like some kind of escape with a bus accident, right? And they couldn't identify a couple people that died because they didn't have no dental records, you know. So I was like, oh man, I got caught up in that part, you know, like they wouldn't release.
At least you all still have your teeth. There's a lot of guys in prison that this is their thing. If you got a toothache, they just pull that shit. So you see a lot of guys in prison missing.
Oh
like,
yeah.
They pull it.
I took advantage of the free. I kept my teeth pretty good. They might be still yellow and all that, but my teeth is good. I took all my wisdom tooth out. I took all my wisdom tooth out though, so I'm good.
Yeah, I got like three pulled. That's all they do.
Yeah, it's like pull teeth. I always associated missing teeth with drug addicts, but then a lot of guys that I met in prison, I was like, when they got comfortable, I was like, yo, how did you miss your tooth? He was like, oh man, dude, I had like dental problems at first, and then when they got bad, they just pulled it in here. They don't give you any other option. They don't give you root canals.
They're not gonna do no crown. They're not
doing a crown. They just they see it. You want to pull it or not?
Yeah, that's it. Pull it or not. Get you some of them Darvocets, man.
Yeah, some non-aspirin. Hey, I was telling Ray about the non-aspirin, bro.
Yeah. That's one thing is
the non-aspirin.
If something happens to you, the doctor would tell you to take non-aspirin and go walk around the track. It doesn't matter what it could be. You could be having my left arm is numb. They'll be like, take some non-aspirin, go walk around the track.
That's their favorite line, man. That's their favorite line, man.
Okay. And then they'll be like, it's not commissary day. And they'll be like, here's a note you can get from commissary now.
All right. Let's I'm looking at we're a little bit over an hour here, about an hour 15. I want to keep this at around like an hour and a half, hour 40 or something like that. I want to there was a question a little bit earlier. Now you're in the process of getting out, right? And you're in the process actually. So the release and everything, there's final signing papers or whatever they got to do. What are you thinking as far as like, I know you want to see the fam and everything like that, but it's like, other than that, it's like, what else? What are you really looking to do? What's the first thing that you're really trying to be out for?
Like first day home?
Like just out. Just
walking out.
Yeah, just walking out and just actually.
My experience was when I was walking out, right? I had a friend to come pick me up, right? So I was, they let us out and I'm walking and I see him and he got like a cigar for me, right? He's like, here, man, I got you a cigar and this, that. My initial is like, man, fuck that cigar, man. Where you park at? Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. He's like, calm down, man. You just got out. I was like, man,
I've been calm for years.
Man, where you park at? Let's go, man. He goes, you don't want to eat nothing? I said, man, let's get out of Huntsville, man. Let's get out of Huntsville. Then we can talk about eating, man. Because we were in there, right? We were in there, and there was a guy. He was taking his time, putting his clothes on, right? So the officer was like, "Look, y'all are one step away. Once y'all get dressed, the faster y'all get dressed, the faster y'all get processed. You know what I'm saying? To go into the room where your name get called, and you walk out that door.
Mm-hmm.
I just need people to take their time getting dressed, and I get a phone call. Hey, is there a AKA Rodriguez Johnson here? And you're like, yeah, hey, they want you back.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what happened, but your ass going back. You were one step away. You one step away from getting out, you know? So like I said, I was like, man,
get through the process.
I don't give a fuck about that cigar. Where you park? Let's go, man. Let's get out of here, man. Hey. Shit. If they call my name on that PA, I'm not going back. You know what I'm saying? I'm already out, you know?
Isaac, I'm sure the first thing was the run to fam. That's pretty much like.
So I was released out of El Paso. So that's a flight. That's a ways from Washington. So for me, I got released in the middle of the night. And I couldn't sleep that night. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm out of here. And then coming to find out, like someone in the unit got sick. So they got pushed back another 3 weeks. So anyways, I get out. COs aren't the brightest dudes in the world, so they're telling me that my cab's on the way to take me to the airport. and I'm thinking I'm gonna miss my flight. And in my head, I'm thinking I don't have a cell phone. How am I gonna call the halfway house to let them know that I'm not gonna make it on time? I don't even know the halfway house number. I'm gonna get violated. They're gonna take away my ear. I'm freaking out, right? So finally, the cop is like, "Hey, man, it's our fault. We didn't call you a cab. It was supposed to be controlled, but they didn't do it. So I'm calling you a cab now." And I'm like, all right, man. So I get there, and the guy that picks me up is like, "Hop in front, man." And I was like, "You sure?" He was like, "I did X amount of years in the state, man. Just hop in front, man. You don't have to sit in the back no more. We good." He threw me a couple of cigarettes, was like, "I'll get you to the airport fast. Watch." And just smashed me down to the airport. My cousin surprised me. He was waiting in the airport lobby for me. So I was just, because I got out and I'm like with my bag, like, it's difficult for me because number one, in a car ride, I'm used to being black boxed or, cuffed to your waist on a bus going 30 miles an hour. Can't use the bathroom. And if you do, you're pissing all over yourself. On a plane where they give you hand sanitizer and they give you a frozen peanut butter jelly sandwich or a frozen ham sandwich, So to be in a car moving around, smoking a cigarette, I'm like, oh shit, it's getting crazy. I get to the airport, my cousin meets me, which is super smooth because my flight ends up getting delayed. So he let me use his phone to call the halfway house. They were like, "Oh yeah, we could see your flight's getting delayed. So once you're ready and get on the plane, call us before you go." So as we're sitting there, I'm like, "Should we go eat or something?" So we went to Denny's, and this is the first time I had orange juice in 6 years.
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, this is crazy orange juice," because they usually, if they give you any sort of fruit, they make sure that you don't take it out of the chow hall because you can make hooch out of it, right? So you're not really getting oranges. You get apples and bananas like 2 days a week or something like that. So I was excited to eat, but then also, like he said, bubble guts, because all the food in prison is mostly diabetic or doesn't have any seasoning. You're conditioned after years of eating food, super processed. Like, the second you have real world food, you get diarrhea.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
Is very sensitive to
it gets shocked. You know what I mean?
What is this?
So
that's why they give us a lot of peanut butter. It's like constipated shit, man.
Because peanut butter takes so long to break down in your stomach. So you're putting peanut butter on apples, bananas, all that.
It's got a lot of protein.
Protein
substitute.
I'm telling myself, like, before going out, I had this little book that I kept, and I was like, I want to watch this movie. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Oh, this is the plan. It was not what I thought it was going to be. Like, I literally was on the plane, like,
hey, let me ask y'all. When y'all was working out in there, did y'all ever like, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna work out, you know what I'm saying, huh? The workout, how's y'all workout schedule out here?
I still work out. I work out like once or twice a week now.
When I was at the halfway house, I was hitting 2 a days. I was still hitting 2 a days.
I still go to the gym when I can.
So you know what's interesting in what you were saying there, Isaac? So Tuhai says that butter. I don't know what that peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
That butter.
Yeah.
The only thing I like that butter on is pancakes, man.
Bro, I haven't ate a pancake in 2 years, man. I've been home 2 years.
I'm gonna take you out to brunch, man.
That was the Sunday brunch, the Saturday Sunday brunch. Yeah.
I ask you for peanut butter. Sometimes they look at me crazy.
I'll eat some waffles.
I think, can I get a side of peanut butter?
I don't eat no pancakes.
I'll eat pancakes.
What I was saying is, I think you had said something to me. I think a week ago, Isaac. It was like when you were out, there were situations where you're back out.
Yeah.
You're back out, and then you're you had to remove yourself in certain situations because it was like, man.
The first outing I had with my family was we went to round one for the kids to play at the arcade. But this was literally like my third day out. I got out like on a Thursday, checked into the halfway house. I got a pass immediately for hygiene, So all the family that couldn't make it to the airport, they took all the kids to round one. And it was difficult for me. It's a bowling alley with an arcade. So it's kind of like a Dave & Buster's, right? It's all these lights and people running around and kids running in front of you and people going by you not saying, excuse me. You know what I mean? Because in prison, you walk in front of someone, you say, excuse me. You let the door slam, you say, excuse me. You don't walk in front of a TV without saying, excuse me, or ducking your head. So these people are running around me like crazy and I'm getting super frustrated. I can't hear what's going on behind me. Like you can either hear squeaking or you can hear keys jingling. Or you're kind of more aware of your senses. Like if you're in your rack and you hear squeaking in a cell, someone's getting a DP or they're fighting. You know what I mean? So, unless it's your people, you're not going to boot up. You know what I mean? So the first time at round one, there was a sensory overload where I had to go outside. And it was 3 of my cousins that we were just out there for the whole time. And they were like, just go in when you're ready. And I wasn't ready because it was just too much for me. So finally, towards the end of the night, I kind of mustered up the courage. Yeah.
3 days out?
yeah, I mustered up the courage to go up there and like, I was like, hey, are the game cards done? And so we all just went outside and sort of chilled. You know what I mean? It was just too much for me at one point. And then even going out to a restaurant, when we got there, you know, I wanted to sit in the back with my back against the wall just so I could see what's going on in the room. You know what I mean? I didn't like waiters going behind me. I didn't, you know, because in the chow hall, that don't happen. You get to your table, and when everybody's done, knock the table, you get up and you go, you know? So to be in a restaurant where people are doing all sorts of stuff is one of those things where I thought in my head I was ready. But because of the time I spent and the conditioning I put myself to go through a routine every day, it stuck with me. So when I did get out, I had to sort of unlearn that stuff. You know what I mean?
How long you been out now, Isaac?
I got out in 21 at the end of July.
So going on 3 years?
Yeah.
Is that the same? How about you? How about you, other fellas? Is that? Did you feel some of that kind of just that anxiety?
3 days. 3 days is kind of early. How many days did you get out before you went out, Curly?
The same night. Bro, my brother's gonna take me out, man.
It took me about 90 days, man. It took me about 90 days.
I mean, the same night. I see my kids. No, the first thing I did when I came home, I didn't want to talk to nobody. Louis, Son, and Cindy picked me up. All right. They were like, where you gonna go? Like, man, take me to mom's house. I want some Lao food. That's all I wanted. Call my kids, go get my kids. We chilling. You know, a lot of people came over, whatnot, you know, good friends, the one that was there for me.
Yeah.
And it was a Wednesday night when I got home.
You went out that same night?
We went out to Bucks the same night.
So Bucks is it's a carnival. You play video games there.
It's a staple. It's a staple.
And actually, I went to Bucks 4 nights in a row, bro.
Good Lord.
Good Lord, man. I waited 90 days. That's how timid I was. I waited 90 days, man.
You waited 90 days?
I waited 90 days. I was
just even go out.
My mind frame was already. It wasn't so hard for me to just block out anything, you know.
Yeah.
Because after my 3rd year, I already blocked out everybody. I don't care about mail. I don't care about nothing. Whatever. You write me. You send me pictures. Whatever. I just look at it and I just kind of put it back there. Long as they my family, I really like. You know what I'm saying? Not to sound callous. I really just didn't. You know, like it was just okay. You know, thank you, but I didn't express it. But I was like, no.
But I went on like super work mode grind after like those 3-4 days that I went out to go. You know, my first 3-4 days out, I did. You know, went out with my brothers. Of course, they wanted to take me out. But then after that, man, my cousin put me on game. Man, we're like, hey, man, look, you need to focus on you. I'm gonna put you on. And that's that's where I'm at now.
Man, that's a good cousin, man. That's a great
cousin.
Man.
I tell him all the time because he's been down before, and I give him his props every time. He put me in where I'm at now. You know, like
you know, you just got put. You know how our work ethic is in there. You know, you got.
And I have you guys. I have nothing but positive people around me now. You know,
in Texas, you work for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you apply that same work ethic in there, you know what I'm saying. Apparently, you know, you be a little more motivated. You get paid out here, you know. In there, you don't get paid jack
Raymond,
shit.
What's up, bro?
You make like 1 penny or 3 pennies every hour. That's the pay that you make in prison. So you're
don't make
for the whole
month. Feds got made money. In state, we didn't make shit. Texas,
Feds you can make money. Like if you're a lead for whatever the case is, you make about $100.
You make about $100.
But a TDC and for other jobs, like literally, you make
we're not making shit.
3 pennies an hour or something like that.
And
so your check comes out to like $7 maybe for a whole month.
You can't say aggravated. You're making about 3 days good time. That's about it.
Yeah, you get good time.
What good time gonna do for you when you come off parole, man?
I still got to do 50%.
Yeah,
you still got to do 50%, man. You know, I was just more fortunate than others. You know, you got your family. You know, that support you. You know, you ain't got to do extra activities. You know, involve yourself in other activities.
It's your life. It's your life choices when you come home.
Yeah,
who do you still want to hang around with? I just chose.
What the question is? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
You know, I was given.
Moving forward. What do you want to do?
I took my opportunities. that was given to me, and I'm running with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like, I mean, it like I've been with you guys, and Isaac, I haven't seen you in a while, but then we've tapped in a few times lately.
Hold
and
up. I'm glad Double H44 brought up Unicore, because
What is that?
Go ahead.
So Unicore, for federal prisons, they have Unicore set up. So Unicore is like a job that you could actually get paid like $300 a check. You know what I mean? It's a full-time job, but Unicore in certain prisons, like at Texarkana, their Unicore was refurbishing electronics. So they would get TVs in, they would be taught how to refurbish them. At Latuna, their Unicore was outfitting ambulances.
But are you still locked up though?
Yeah, you're still locked up.
Oh, okay.
You live in a whole different wing.
So it's an in-house program then.
Yeah, Long Park, they do like signs, like for nature reserves or just stop signs. They produce signs. So it's basically an actual job where it benefits society because it's cheap labor basically, and they pay you a third of the cost. So you're outfitting an entire ambulance vehicle with sirens, so on and so forth, or state patrol vehicles or whatnot, and you're decaling them, and you can make like Double 44 commented, you can make up to like $300-400 a month. I mean, they give you 3 hots and a cot, so you stack that money. You know what I mean? You don't have any vices.
Yeah,
you could walk out of there with something saved up if you don't have anything in the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You ain't got no vices. You got some money coming in.
And that was the only thing that was actually really worth it in there. Huh? Wow, I didn't even understand. I don't even believe that was actually going on. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Unicorn.
So, and that's
they have that kind of program. Texas,
that's all subsidized, right?
It's a federal.
Texas,
it's a federal
you gotta go the dark side route.
I mean, yeah, but you get that free trade, like whatever. Like we have the stainless steel, whatever. You get that free knowledge of work, but you're working for free.
Yeah.
But they give you the opportunity of learning something.
Yeah.
That's why your best bet. Your best bet if you don't have any money coming in.
Thank you for my business management degree. Thank you. Shout out.
Your best bet if you don't have any money coming in is work in the kitchen and steal a bag of cheese.
Yeah.
Wrap it to your stomach.
Man. I don't know about stealing.
Onions, anything that's not locked down.
Yeah,
you can get it plastic top and get it in the unit.
Let's not say shit. Let's just say hustling.
Hustling. Fine. If you can hustle a bag of cheese and saran wrap it to your stomach, and get some onions out or some peppers.
Yeah, survival, man. You got to survive, man.
Chicken on a Thursday. If you make a narco tongo, you want to know what a narco tongo is?
Yeah.
We call it a tool belt. It's a laundry bag that's cut into something that holds like shit on your crotch.
Well, I mean, I think you already had us at Kanika. So, so listen, fellas, we're like running into here. So I want to see how you like tell everybody, like, after all these stories, you guys did your time and everything like that. And I want to bring this together because, like I had mentioned early in the very beginning of this pod, in this episode, and when people asking me, it's like, why are you bringing this to light? And it's basically talk about the experiences and what you had to do, and you had to do what you had to do. And now you're back out here. You did your time. You guys have been out for at least a couple of years here, and I think Curly, you celebrated a couple of years now already, right?
Last
Friday, you did celebrate.
This past Friday.
I know you have definitely just as soon as you got out, you've definitely rehabbed your life and everything like that. Tell everybody, like right here, at least whoever's listening, is like, where you at right now? What's life right now?
Life's good, man. I don't even think about, me. I don't never talk about my past. I don't like talking about that. Doesn't define me. I hate.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate having to say, like, even when my brother, my brother to this day, he'd be like, "Oh, this is my brother. He just got out." Why are you telling people that? I fucking hate that. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck? That's just me. Like, don't let going to prison define you.
Yeah, that's a great message.
Never.
That is a great message.
I don't regret a lot of things in life, but then again, I'd never planned on going to prison. Nobody plans on going to prison.
Who plans on going to prison?
Who plans on it, right? Unless you just like living the life of crime.
Tupac.
Because one day, if you keep doing stupid shit, of course you're gonna go to prison. But I
really like cold sodas given to me.
Yeah, I don't like talking about.
You have to have freedom, man. That's the first. To pursue happiness in this world, you gotta have freedom. You don't have freedom, you can't pursue happiness.
Freedom, and family.
Yeah.
Two F's.
Isaac, how's life right now, bro?
You know, I watched my daughter get raised through visits. That's 16 hours every weekend. So I would see her one time she's crawling, the next time she's not wearing diapers, the next time she's walking, the next time she's talking. But she never didn't know who I was. And that's because Kristen's family and my family were always major supporters of that's daddy. Daddy's on the phone. This is a picture of daddy. So she always knew who I was. She remembers. She tells me all the time, Daddy, remember you were in jail and you were, we had to go see you and you gave me all the candy. And I was like, yeah, so as soon as I got out, we had another kid. I'm very fortunate to be able to, those times that I missed with Iceland, to be with my son now and see all the moments that I missed out on, So right now I'm working, I'm providing for my family. I did a lot of growing up in prison, man. I literally went in there, just a rambunctious, outspoken dude. You get around the right set of guys who they know you got a little bit of a stretch in front of you. They're a little bit more conservative. Some of the wild shit that I talk about or the jokes that I would do. One of the homies from the city checked me. He was not checked me, but he was like, hey, it's funny when you talk about that shit when it's me and you, but around the big homie, man, he's not really with all that shit. So I was a little more conservative. You got to pick and choose how you move in there. You know what I mean? You don't want to get looked at as a clown all the time, So I lost a lot of myself because I joked around a lot, So having to be put in that situation where you gotta be, accountable for yourself. It put me in a position where coming out, that's one of the things I knew I was going to do was be a family man and be good to my family. My parents and my loved ones who supported me while I was in there, who are still supporting me now for whatever situation I need. But it's one of those things where you reach one, teach one, man. I'm still learning and growing every day. But I'm happy, I'm free, and I'm fortunate, and I'm scared straight. I'm scared straight.
Hey, I'm scared too, but I ain't go to church yet, but I'm still scared though.
Ali, how you living, bro?
I'm good, I'm blessed, you know what I'm saying? I'm blessed, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I went down twice. The first time, I was in a box. You get out, you want this, you want to do this, you want to do that, you know what I'm saying? It goes so fast, you know what I'm saying? You don't really get to enjoy stuff, cherish, you know what I'm saying? What's really the ones that you love, you know what I'm saying, is the ones that are really telling you the truth, you know what I'm saying? Not the ones that, you know what I'm saying, what you want to do, what you have, what you don't have, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm very blessed. The second time I lasted 2 years last time, but now I'm out almost 10 years now, you know what I'm saying? And
wow,
life is good, and I got, you know what I'm saying, I got a very good, backbone, you know what I'm saying? Like very good support.
Back to you.
And you gotta count your blessings, so you just gotta count your blessings,
No, it's and that's why, again, it goes back to the statement that I made earlier. So we gotta, it's one of those things that, as it's the little bit of the darker side of our actual, the community, the Asian community.
It's still part of our culture. Everybody gets locked up. Black, white, Mexican, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
It's not even just our culture itself, but it's like, since we are like, an Asian, South Filipino show and everything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be afraid to talk about it.
I'm very, very proud of you guys. I mean, hearing you guys' story, I've heard it individually now and at the same time and as a group, and you guys went in there together, and then you guys are out here doing the right things. You've recovered quite well. You've rehabbed. I mean, I think, a lot of people, when they get out, they're back in, just like when those guys are like, you'll be back.
It's like a snap of a finger.
Revolving door. Yeah. They call it a revolving door.
And it's just every day you're proving them wrong. Yeah. Every day you're proving them wrong. Fellas, I've got to end this out here. I'm very, very, very grateful that you guys, feel confident enough in where you're at in life, that you guys are willing to share this with us, to the community. We've got quite a few people here. You're going to get some eyeballs on this because I am planning to push it out there. Again, I'm very proud, and I would hope your families and everybody else around you, the community, should be proud of you, because you've managed to just keep yourself straight. I very much appreciate your time with us here. Y'all good?
Thank you.
All right, can you blur out my face? I'm just kidding.
Everybody's face is gonna be blurred out, and every other
just this part.
Hey, I just want to show this part right here. Hold on, right here.
Okay, and with that.